Alright, guys, welcome back to the show. If you have missed part 1, go head over to Paul's segment. It's Paul's Hardware. That's his YouTube channel.
Yes, part 1 is on Paul's Hardware.
That's right. Go check that out and then come back here and watch this segment, or you can watch this. You can watch them out of order. It doesn't really matter.
We talked about a lot of
really
stuff in the first half that you're going to need to know for the second half.
Yes.
So you should really watch that first.
Absolutely. So, guys, welcome back to the show. If you are just joining us, also welcome. We have a good show for you guys today, and we're going to continue that right now. So, first off, my first segment is going to be a continuation of Paul's, which is
Do you have any announcements?
Oh yes, okay. For those of you,
you've been so excited to start your show the past couple weeks.
I know. I get so ahead of myself.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Enthusiasm.
So for those of you who missed it and are just joining us, I'm doing a new segment on here called Pimp My PC, which is an obligatory ripoff of the Pimp My Setup segment that Matt Philly does on his own channel, YouTube.com/SwashinTV. Go ahead and check him out if you haven't already. But he has such a great idea for a show that I just couldn't help but copy it and just totally steal it.
Take it.
Where I basically will take your guys' pictures of your PCs, of your desktops, and Paul and I will kind of just look at them and tell you how you can improve upon your personal rigs. So
since Kyle's doing this show now, Matt's unable to do Pimp My Setup anymore, so our apologies for that. But trust me, this show here is going to be totally worth that trade-off.
I don't think that's absolutely true, Paul.
I thought the license moved over to...
No,
isn't that transferred to your name?
I don't know about that. Anyway,
the paperwork's still done.
If you guys would like to participate personally in this segment of mine that's coming up later on the show, go ahead and tweet me pictures of your system at my Twitter handle is @ForeverAKyle, and make sure that your side panel is off of your case. So that we can actually see the insides of it and give you some more feedback that way. So go ahead and tweet me those pictures, guys. But let's move on to my first segment, which is tech news. First off, I don't know, you've probably heard about this, Paul. I think everyone's heard about this at some point this week. Gigabyte overtakes Asus as the largest motherboard vendor, which is exciting.
I did see this.
Yeah.
I read articles.
Yeah.
No, I didn't read articles. I read headlines.
Oh, okay.
What are they using to quantify biggest? What is biggest?
Biggest essentially means, in this case, that one vendor has shipped more motherboards in the first quarter than another.
So they're looking at quantity of motherboards
Looking at
shipped.
quantity of motherboards shipped, which is an indication of sales as well.
And to clarify, there's different ways of quantifying, like, companies when you're comparing one to the other, when it comes to stuff like revenue or units sold or anything like that. So Asus, overall, is still massive. They're huge. And when you look at the amount of stuff that Asus does, when it comes not just to motherboards, which they do a great job on,
laptops, perhaps,
but
video
all
cards,
the finished goods. There's lots of stuff that they dabble in. Gigabyte as well has a whole range of stuff, and actually that's a fun thing about going to CES is you see the stuff that Gigabyte can't sell in the US.
Right.
Like I was at CES and they had a lamp. It was a lamp stand. Remember that? Do you remember this?
I don't remember the lamp.
So it was a little lamp stand, right?
Okay.
A little base like that, and it just had a USB plug that you plug into your laptop. And the lamp stand had an optical drive in it, and like a USB hub and a card reader.
That's pretty awesome.
I was like, that's sweet. Because it's like a lamp, and you set it on your desk. But then you just plug USB into your laptop, and then you have an optical drive if you have like a slim thing. And I was like, what? This is cool.
I've never known a lamp to be that useful.
Yeah, but it's not sold in the US.
Of course.
So...
Only like the Eastern culture thinks of these awesome things, and like
they don't share them with us.
We're stupid Americans.
That's why we have to take National Beer Day for ourselves.
That's right.
By the way, it's National Beer Day, everyone.
Could it also be National Tequila Day?
Kyle has switched to tequila.
We were out of beer.
You're out of beer?
Out of usable beer.
Okay.
I have to save the rest.
He's saving the rest for Coachella this weekend. All right, but cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Okay.
Now you have to pound that.
Damn it. Slow but surely. All right, so continuing on with this little segment here, so Gigabyte, if you want to know the pure numbers, they shipped 4.8 million motherboards in the first quarter of this year, while Asus, or Asus Tech, shipped about 4.5 million. So they're about 0.3 million up on Asus, those Gigabyters. And that's pretty good. I'm going to make that a thing.
Gigabyters.
Gigabyters, yeah, just Improving. But both of them, sadly, are still quite short of their 20 million units shipped annually. So each of them have a quota of 20 million. That's their goal, is to ship 20 million motherboards per year. So at 4.5 and 4.8 million, I mean, they should be making at least 5 million per quarter to meet that goal. So there's a couple reasons for this, right? I mean, there hasn't been as much of a demand for PCs in the PC market for the first quarter. Hopefully we're going to see that start to pick up in the second and third quarters, especially with like Black Friday and the holidays, of course. Everything kind of just goes up in general for most markets that way. But it's been a little bit slow in this first quarter, which is understandable. But both Gigabyte and Asus are still, I don't want to say light years, but they are far ahead of their competitors like ASRock and MSI, for example. Just in terms of motherboards, all right? We're just talking motherboards here. So ASRock and MSI are trailing behind at about 1.4 to 1.6 million units shipped.
So are you talking about quality of product, or are you just talking about units?
We're just
shipped?
talking about units sold.
Okay.
But
you should clarify that.
Yeah, well,
if you ever want to get sampled anything from MSI, you should clarify.
No, yeah, of course. This
Right.
has nothing to do with sales. It's just number of units shipped.
Hey, look, they have a picture of the MSI GT80 Titan SLI.
I think I'm doing a video on that pretty soon.
Well, that will be a fascinating video, Kyle. Sorry,
Yes,
just a
yes,
teaser.
Of course it will.
Why do they have that here?
Because
That's
Paul,
the representation of MSI.
No, this brings up a good point. Is that companies like ASRock and MSI, who are trailing behind in the motherboard department, are looking for new avenues to branch into besides motherboards themselves. So ASRock, for example, they're turning to enterprise-oriented solutions. And MSI, as you just saw, why is that picture there? It's because they're also branching out into the gaming notebook business.
I thought you were going to say like high fashion, because I think that's somewhere that ASRock should go with their products.
High fashion?
Yes. I'd like to see an ASRock like display at Paris Fashion Week.
That would be cool.
Anyway, that's
some interesting concepts.
Good job,
going on.
Gigabyte.
Yes,
great job.
Basically, that's what this story is. Congrats, Gigabyte.
And I think when you look at something like this, like what it comes down to, because like for some reason when you first started talking about this story, I was reminded very very much of Acer, right? Because Acer is like they move more monitors than anyone.
Yeah.
And it's not very well known that Acer is like, I think they're the biggest volume, I could be wrong here, so sorry if I'm wrong, but I know they're at least very, very high up there.
Right.
As far as the biggest volume seller of monitors.
Right.
But it's because Acer really got that market that people spend a lot of money in.
Yeah.
Not like big dollars, but lots of people spend smaller amounts of money in. Which is like, you could buy an Acer 1080, decent 22-inch monitor for $100 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's really where they kind of captured that market.
Right.
And I think that's where Gigabyte actually has a lot going on for them. Right. Not to say that their higher end offerings, there's anything wrong with them at all. Like they make great motherboards all through the stack.
Yeah.
But when you look at like what is this one? The Z97P D3. A Z97 board that does everything you want it to do, that has no extra bells and whistles, that is rock solid, and is inexpensive, $120 or something like that. Right. I have no idea how much this actually costs, but that's what I'm talking about.
It's like a $3,000 board.
You're looking at that value proposition of gets the job done, is reliable, and doesn't cost a ton of money. And I think that's where Gigabyte has done well, especially over this past year.
Yep, absolutely. And I've been personally happy with Gigabyte boards. I've got one in my test bed right now. I've got it's the UD4P X99, and that's been doing really well. As far as the one behind Paul right now, which is my daily driver for all my editing stuff, I've got the X99 Gaming Wi-Fi G1, the Gaming G1 Wi-Fi, they're both excellent boards. Had to update the BIOS and stuff, but got it working quite easily. So Gigabyte is definitely killing it right now, and obviously the numbers show that. Apart from that, I will say that that's all I have to say, actually. There's nothing else.
Apart from that, I would also like to add nothing. Zero additional things.
So moving on. Congratulations, Gigabyte.
Yay.
So Stanford creates an aluminum phone battery that charges in 1 minute.
What?
Those Stanford guys, I tell ya, they are on intelligent crack or something.
This is over on Maximum PC, by the way, and that last story was from Hexus.net.
Yes, thank you. So similar aluminum batteries in the past have shown to die after the first 100 cycles of charging. which is not consumer friendly. You can't just have a smartphone that only you get to charge 100 times before it completely taps out on you. But these ones can withstand over 7,500 cycles without any loss of capacity, which is actually a lot more than typical lithium-ion batteries, which can only handle about 1,000 cycles, which is why after having this phone for 2 years, I have to charge it almost once a day, even when I don't use it that much, because it has a very limited number of cycles compared to this new aluminum shit.
How much of an impact do the purple gloves have on the battery's ability to charge quickly? Oh, there's blue gloves too.
I hear the purple gloves actually give you higher rechargeability than the blue ones.
I like the purple gloves.
Yeah, you gotta go with purple.
Okay.
Or that could be bad color correcting in the video. I'm not sure. But there are certain besides having more more life cycles, more recharge cycles than their lithium ion counterparts. There are also a number of other features that aluminum ion cells have over their li-ion brethren, I should say, including they are cheaper. Like, aluminum ion cells are just a lot more cheap than li-ion, so I don't know why keep saying li-ion, I'm reading it. Lithium-ion batteries. Additionally, they're not as flammable, which is good if you have, like, kids and stuff. You don't want them to catch on fire. I guess most people these days aren't setting their kids on fire. They don't explode. They don't explode or catch on fire when they're punctured, like lithium-ion. They're higher capacity, which we've already talked about, and they're flexible, which kind of introduces some, maybe futuristic ideas about what batteries are going to be like later down the road. But the prototype that Stanford's produced...
Hey, Kyle.
Yes?
Apparently we're having some major audio sync issues. And we're having lots of requests to restart the stream.
You always sabotage my part.
Well, I did it intentionally, but I think it might be a good choice.
I don't like you. Okay, right. Let's try refreshing.
Sorry about that.
And we're back.
1,000, 2,100, 3,400, and we're back.
And we're back. Hopefully it's working now. Guys, let us know if the audio-video sync is okay. If it's not, we'll try troubleshooting it a bit more, but the show must go on. So yes. Until we hear further notification from you guys, I'm just going to continue on where we left off, which was on this aluminum phone battery thing that can charge in under a minute, which is pretty impressive. What I was saying earlier is that the prototype that Stanford's produced for this aluminum ion battery has about half the voltage of a standard lithium-ion battery, which isn't very promising, but
We're good now, by the way.
Good. Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
But the folks behind this new battery type says that it's simply a matter of improving the cathode material of the battery. Now, this is very technical, and I don't know the ins and outs of battery facilitation and shit like that, but the challenge is finding materials that can produce enough voltage after multiple charge and discharge cycles. And actually, it's kind of interesting because Stanford accidentally discovered that using graphite, which is essentially carbon, offered really good performance over other materials. They discovered it accidentally.
I love accidental discoveries.
Me too. So I think Corsair should create a power supply in their graphite series that uses graphite.
That would be a good selling point.
Anyway, this as long as they continue to improve this cathode material, this could potentially mean a future battery for smartphones that doesn't suck, that you don't have to wait 4 or 5 hours to charge. And that'll last you quite a bit longer.
So that's like a sea change. Like, that's freaking huge. Like,
yeah, it is huge. It is really huge. It'll change everything.
That falls into the category of things that I used to do 20 years ago that were regular, normal, everyday things that will just be gone. Like, my regular thing right now is when I go to bed, I plug in my phone.
Yep.
And when I get up in the morning, it's charged.
Yeah.
Like... And who knows, maybe I'll still do that, just because it's normal or whatever. But, like, to charge your phone, like, how quick?
In a minute.
In a freaking minute?
A minute.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Even at half the voltage of a lithium-ion battery, you're still talking, okay, maybe that's 50% voltage, but that's thousands upon thousands of percent better charge time.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they can keep revising the cathode material that's used to create these batteries and to sustain the life cycles in them, they could potentially increase the voltage with future revisions and still maintain a 1-minute charge time.
That'd be awesome.
Which is pretty great.
A battery improvement is one of the things that, like, has so much potential for not just for, like, convenience of things like cell phones and that sort of thing, but when it comes to, like, transportation and, like, cars, vehicles.
I think it has a lot of potential because it's so limited. Like, we're always so limited by batteries.
Oh, yeah.
So seeing vast improvements in that is really quite exciting. But moving on to the next story, the Roccat, our friends at Roccat, or... Roccat. Our friends at Roccat are coming out with their new...
Where are you getting Roccat from?
You used to call it Roccat.
That's before I
partially got that from you.
That's before I met the CEO, and he's like, just call it Roccat. And I was like, okay.
I know the CEO of Roccat.
We walked to their booth at CES, at Computex, 2.5 years ago.
I didn't exist at that Computex.
And he was really cool.
I remember...
He's a very nice guy.
I was held captive in the hotel room editing videos for hours on end.
That's true.
Sorry
about that.
So... Roccat is coming out with their new Kave XTD 5.1 analog surround headset, which is pretty cool. This is the successor to the OG Kave that they came out with not too long ago, but it's 25% lighter. It's got a dual mode remote, so you can switch between stereo and 5.1 surround when you're getting into the nitty-gritty gaming experience, or you're just watching some movies and you want that more immersive sound level.
It's an interesting angle on that picture.
It is kind of unique, right? Because the microphone's pointed the other way, but I think maybe they're just showing off the design.
It makes the cans look huge.
Right. Which I'm not opposed to.
Like you'd look like Princess Leia.
Which I'm not opposed to, because I don't care how big or goofy they look, because if I'm using them at home, no one's going to see me anyway.
Okay.
And as long as they're, like I said, they're 25% lighter than the original Caves, which I believe were already pretty light to begin with. So the fact that they're 25% lighter is a good sign. That means they're going to be more comfortable, potentially, and you'll be able to wear them for longer periods of time. The microphone also has an LED tip on it, which lights up every time you speak into it, so it tells you when the microphone's active or muted, which is kind of a nice visual indication to just see if your mic's on. I've
never
seen a
heard of that before.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested how useful that would be.
I mean, I can see if your mic's, if it's a flex mic, which it looks like it is, you could potentially just look down and see that my mic's lighting up.
Were you able to tell how you mute it? Like, is there a...
I think it's probably an inline. It's probably an inline...
Oh, there's an inline switch?
There's probably an inline switch, yeah.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but that's probably what I'm guessing.
It'd be hard to see like how well you could see that in your peripheral vision, like a light on it.
Well, I mean, you might just have to go. You might have to like peel it back a little bit if it's flexible and stuff. I mean, I can usually see my mod mic when I'm gaming and whatnot.
Actually, no. I've decided that I like it and I want this. I'll use it while streaming. And then when you're streaming, you have the camera on you, and then it's like a little light pops up in front of your face every time you talk.
Yeah, I think it's
interactive and
it's a cool move.
Visually stimulating.
Right. So
I like visual stimulation.
Exactly. Additionally, it's got 40mm drivers on both ends, aligned precisely at a 12-degree angle to match the natural form of your ear. So I guess maybe the way the driver is oriented can affect how clear it's coming into your ear, or maybe just how evenly the sound is entering your ear.
Yeah.
They're getting pretty technical here at this point, but it also features 30mm vibration drivers, which I asked you earlier about.
Do we know what those are?
What are those? I mean, I've heard of vibrating headphones, so maybe this just means that they can vibrate. When the subwoofer maybe is being blasted out, or when there's extreme frequencies of certain type that are higher decibel than others, maybe a vibration occurs, and that gives you a bit more like feel of motion or some kind of immersion. I'm not sure, but
some haptic feedback on the headphones or something.
If that's the case, I hope there's an off switch, because I don't think everyone would be into that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would want vibration on my ears.
Anything like that, you need to be able to turn off.
Yes.
I mean, it's not always practical, too. I mean, you might like it, but in certain situations, you can't have your headphones vibrating.
Exactly. What if you're listening to your iPod with this thing?
Yeah. What if
you don't want, Taylor Swift to be vibrating your ears while you're listening to her hit single?
What if you're reclining?
Not that I do.
What if you're reclining against a pile of sleeping puppies with your headphones on?
That's another use case scenario that's very common.
They could wake up the puppies.
I deal with this on the daily, so. Hopefully that's something
that I think headphone manufacturers should really consider.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the first analog headset of its kind to feature an interference isolator for zero noise. Essentially, that gives you zero electromagnetic interference from other devices.
That's good.
So that's cool. That's the first of its kind for an analog headset. It's also got an inline remote, which allows you to adjust the various parameters of 5.1 surround individually and independently. So you can control the volume of your center, left, right, and subwoofer independently of each other with this inline
I do love vibrating
controller.
things.
Yes, vibrating things are always good.
That was pointed out in chat.
Yeah. But, I mean, this is kind of cool that they're coming out with 5.1 analog as opposed to digital. I know a lot of people are, on the analog bandwagon as opposed to USB digital, especially when it comes to something like surround.
It depends where your source is coming from.
Yes, it does.
Because, yeah, I mean...
It depends on the music. It depends on the game quality. Yeah.
And most people, when it comes down to it, I feel like, when you get to the higher end, want analog because they want to have their own source set up, and usually the source will end up with an analog output.
Right.
And you just need a high-end headphones in order to achieve that.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder how these will fall in line against the Kingstons, the Clouds.
Yeah, so the Kingstons are digital.
Cloud 2.
They're digital 5.1 analog. From everything I can see, they're pretty much on par with each other.
Okay.
I think these are a bit more pricey. They're due out mid-April for about $120, which I believe you can get the Kingston ones for $100 now.
Yeah.
The new HyperX Cloud 2s.
So these are going to need to show some improvement or some significant features that differentiate them from the HyperX Cloud 2s because if you look at headsets that have come out, I think in the past year or two, the Cloud 2s I think are
killing it.
Yeah,
killing it right now.
They're widely accepted by a lot of reviewers to be, if you're looking at headsets and you're not looking at like higher end headphones and like studio type stuff.
The one thing that might sell me on a Roccat Kave over a Cloud 2, HyperX Cloud 2, is the microphone. If the microphone is killer on this Kave, on this headset, then I might justify the extra $20 because that's like I think half of a headset. That's what makes it a headset, not headphones, is the microphone. If you're doing VoIP and shit and you're chatting a lot in game, then the microphone's very important. It's something that a lot of vendors overlook. They're like, well, we'll just slap a shitty $2 microphone in there, and we'll brand it as a headset.
Yeah.
But that's literally half of what us gamers are looking for in a headset is good quality mic. And the Cloud 2, as amazing as the sound is for $100, it really does have really good sound. With all the tests that I did with it, the microphone isn't that hot. It's just a kind of a crap mic in my personal opinion. So if for an extra $20 you can get the Roccat Kave and it has a killer mic, I would say go for it. And all the other things I feel are a bit gimmicky, like being able to control the interference isolator for zero noise. I mean, I don't really deal with electrostatic frequency interference on the reg, with any of the headsets that I use currently. So, I mean, that might be like some kind of excuse for a markup, some marketing markup. But I don't know. I think it boils down to the mic. Like you said, the Cloud 2 is a viable option, so it's going to boil down, for me personally, it's going to boil down to how's the mic sound. So... And comfort, of course.
That's quite a bit of speculation. You're just accepting that these are going to have really good sound?
No, I'm saying if it's on par with everything else.
So the sound is on par, then
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Because I mean, the Cloud 2s have 50mm drivers, which aren't going to be. We're going to be just marginally better sounding than the 40mm drivers on this. So it boils down to the mic for me.
So I think Matt's in chat, and I don't know what he's talking about. Matt Philly.
Oh,
Swashing.
Heyo. What's up, Matt?
And he said he's contacting people, and I don't know what he's talking about. He might just be responding to somebody in chat. I don't know if he's trying to get a hold of us.
Oh, what's going on, Matt?
I think he said we can't. He said you can't do your segment anymore.
No,
he's cutting it off.
I spoke with him earlier. He said it was totally
you know what
cool.
I thought about it? It was like, I don't want you guys ripping off my shit.
No, Matt's a cool guy.
It's his intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to file a patent lawsuit against us, actually.
Shit. Just loop it in with NVIDIA and Samsung. All right, so that's pretty much all I have to say about the Roccat Kave. Be sure to look out for it mid-April for $120. And now it's on to our next segment, which is not Pimp My PC. Sorry, Matt.
No,
you have to stay tuned
yet.
for that. We're going to wait a little bit longer. Let's do the next one after this. We're doing FACEOFF. We're going to do a little FACEOFF. Yep, it's the game y'all love. It's the one that Paul loves to lose at.
I always lose.
Where we go head-to-head and play an crappy online two-player game. And the loser has to do something stupid. And you guys just let us know in the chat what you would like Paul to do.
You still haven't predetermined what the outcome is?
I like the crowdsource aspect of it,
Then you should have crowdsourced it at the beginning like you're doing with your Matt Philly ripoff.
These guys are good at coming up with ideas left and right. You know what I mean? They don't need extra time. But to take a picture and tweet it, they got to take their side panel off.
So when you go to Vegas and you're going to gamble, and you're like, hey, I'm going to gamble,
yep.
And you go up to a table, and you're like, I want to gamble, and they're like, how much money do you want to gamble? And you're like, I don't care. You're just like, I don't care, I'll gamble, whatever. Here's my wallet, whatever's in there. Like you just don't
No,
don't bother to determine what the repercussions are or anything like that?
Somehow in Vegas, I'm more coherent than I am on this show. So no, I usually do have
true.
It's
not
totally
true at all.
You've never seen me in
lying.
Vegas.
You should not be lying to
You've
our
never seen me in
audience like
Vegas.
this, Kyle. I apologize for Kyle lying.
You're appalling. And I'm ashamed I said that.
It's good.
All right, so let's
agree.
get on with the show here. We're gonna play some soccer physics. This is another terrible game that I found.
Actually, this is a reasonable one. Sharpie glasses.
Yeah, I know. I pointed that out earlier. I think it's great. You know, you would look really good in them.
What I can't.
You're already wearing them.
If I have to film tomorrow,
More or less.
I'll come off. Look, I'm wearing Sharpie glasses.
Yes, you are. All right, so bring the keyboard over here.
Do we even know how to control this?
Yes.
There's an up arrow and a W. All right, so this is there's only one button.
Yep.
I didn't do well at the one button game last time.
It's very simple.
I have W.
And I have up.
Also,
arrow.
We should show people what the hell's going on right now.
Yes, show them, Paul.
This is soccer physics.
Show them now. This is soccer physics. So we're playing soccer with physics.
That's all.
That's all this game is.
That is the entire introduction.
Yep.
And 2 players.
You can tell I really
Okay.
planned for this one. All right, so you're on the left. I'm on the right.
Push the button to somehow control your team.
It really says to somehow.
I love this. I love the instructions here.
Love it already. All right, ready?
Okay. Sure.
Let's play first to 3.
All right.
Let's go.
I worked last time.
All right, where's the ball? Oh no.
There we go. Ah, look at that. Look at that.
No,
Get in there.
No.
Get in there. Ah,
Can you use your head?
I'm trying to use my head.
What are you David Beckham?
Get out of the freaking goal.
No.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Why didn't that go in there?
Blocked.
Why didn't that go in the goal?
Go. You can't go forward. Look at I'm using my head.
This is silly.
Use your head, Paul. Use your head.
Oh, that was stupid.
Dude, did you see that headshot? That was like a soccer
stupid.
headshot. Oh, we got a beach ball. Beach ball.
Hey, I'm not playing anymore. Doesn't count. This doesn't count.
What do you...
Doesn't count.
Such a baby. Fine, I'll give that one to you. Because I feel sorry for you. No!
Please go in the goal.
No, why can't I...
Just roll out.
Why can't you go?
Thank God. Alright, it's 1-1 now, because that one that didn't count.
Alright, fine.
Well, I wasn't looking.
Oh! You just... Yeah! Oh my god! I want an instant replay on that. Did you see that? That literally went between both your crotches at the same time.
Alright, you win.
That was awesome. Alright, ready?
Stupid game. Alright, are we done?
No!
You said best to... Oh, we need to win 3.
No, remember, I gave you one. I gave you one.
So it's the first person with 3 wins. So it's 2... Okay,
It's,
okay.
it's 1 to 2.
Okay, I thought it was
1 to 2.
Alright.
Shit. Ah, shit.
All right,
That was
it's
so...
tied up.
Alright,
It's
here
tied
we go.
up.
This is gonna backfire on me totally.
Oh.
Look at you. Look at
Why
you.
did my player launch himself across the entire map? Right.
Oh shit.
Just.
Oh shit. It's like once you go past the ball.
I just headed the ball back into my own goal.
Wow.
I need to.
Alrighty. And that concludes this segment of Face Off.
Yes. Yes. We hope
So
you've
go
enjoyed.
ahead.
We really need to play like masterpiece theater music or something like
I'm
that
cool with
during
that.
this segment. All right.
So people are saying you should strip down naked.
Yeah.
You should shave your head. You should delete your YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. People are just commenting about how good I am at this game.
We have this moment of like I feel like it's so exciting now.
So anticlimactic.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll think of something for Paul to do.
This is the traditional way that the face-off goes. Is
You owe me $10. I like that one.
$10, yeah.
Yeah. All right, you'll
We'll
just buy
send that.
lunch next time. And
Look!
on the next episode.
Look, it's Rooster.
Hey, Rooster.
Hey, Rooster! Thanks for stepping in.
Hope you're not too coked up.
You forgot about our show.
Yeah. So just to prove to the fans, I think that you paid your dues for this huge failure on your part.
Yeah.
I think I should eat part of the lunch on next episode of Awesome Hardware.
Eat part of the lunch.
Eat part of the lunch that you buy me, because you owe me lunch. You owe me lunch next week on the next episode.
Lunch now.
Yes.
This is a monetary.
Well, it was $10, and I would like lunch.
I see.
So, bring me
Well,
some.
in that case,
some
that
burgers
means
or
you
something.
have to show up next week.
Well, I mean, even if it's GTA day and we just do GTA, I still want to be fed.
That's fine. I'll do that.
I'll drive you over to your house.
That I can do.
And you can buy me, like, steak or something.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Well, that's all for Face-Off.
Yeah.
Hope you
yeah.
enjoyed Face-Off game.
I don't think you've... Alright, for the record, I don't think you've ever won...
No, I haven't.
A segment. We're on episode 8 now.
Yeah.
And we've probably done at least 6 of these.
You've clearly chosen a game every time that you
Well, here's the thing. So when I pick a game for Face-Off, I have to play it first just to make sure that it's playable.
Yeah.
Because some of these games I find are not playable. They are not real games.
He always has an advantage going into it.
It's not really an advantage because I'm playing both characters. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just making sure that the buttons work.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I can clearly beat Paul at this game, no problem.
Well, Johnson!
Like I always say.
We got 32 notifications here, Kyle.
Alright, so now let's move on to the segment that I've been hyping up since the beginning of today's stream, which is the Pimp My PC segment, an obligatory awesome hardware ripoff of Matt Philly's Pimp My Setup, which you guys can find on youtube.com/SwashinTV, SWASHINTV. I can spell Johnson. Go ahead and check him out. He's got a great show going on there. I was a special guest on his show earlier this week. Paul was a special guest a few weeks before that. He's got a lot of huge people on his show, including Linus, and I think he's got our friend Sergeant Ballistic as well. And I said you.
Okay.
I said you.
You didn't group me.
Calm down.
You didn't group me with the huge people.
You're not. You ain't there yet. You gotta pay your dues, son.
Trying.
Anyway, go check out Matt Philly's channel. Pimp My Setup is an awesome bit that he does. But it's so awesome that we decided to steal it. So we're going to do what's called Pimp My PC, where you guys send in pictures to me and Paul, and we go ahead and not only rate them, but just give you guys tips on how to improve the look and overall feel of your PC, whether it's tidy the cable management up or, color coordinate some things here and there, whatever it may be. We give you guys some feedback personally from us to you. Some of them are really impressive. And I kind of expected that because not everyone's going to be like, I'm going to send in a picture of my shitty-ass PC. A lot of them are like, well, I have an awesome PC. Let's see what kind of critiques they can make on me.
A lot of people do that with Matt, though.
A lot of people do that with Matt, too.
People send stuff into Matt, and I'm like, why would you send that picture?
I don't know. Part of it's probably for the lulz. But anyway, let's start off with some of these. Why don't you just... I'm going to task you with picking out...
Doing all the work?
With doing all the work, and then I'll just reap the benefits, because it's on my half of the show.
I'm on top of that.
You're in control. You are in control. And it'd be awkward to reach over your body.
Well, you can try.
And,
You can try to be kind of you.
Kind of control it together. See?
You have such soft hands.
I know.
All right, let's start off with this one, which was sent over by... wait, who sent this over?
And by the way, I want to try to get through 4 or 5 of these. It depends on how much Paul and I elaborate and how much content there is to talk about.
This is from Aiden Fryer.
But we're going to try to do 4 or 5. Let's do it.
Aiden F123 on Twitter.
Okay.
This is an Imager album.
Node 305?
He's building the Node 304.
304, yeah.
That you knew Fractal products.
Same shit.
So here it is.
Okay.
Make it bigger.
Let's see it. I like the Strix in there. The 970 Strix, I think it is. It looks really nice. Okay. Very clean, actually. The cable management...
That's a Noctua cooler.
Yes.
Wow. That's
pretty beefy.
The least amount of clearance space I've seen with a cooler in a system like this.
But I have to...
And yet it fits right in there.
Yeah, I have to admire that he's actually utilizing most of the space in the Node 304. Because I did a build in here in this case before, and it didn't use up nearly as much space, which I felt like was kind of wasted on the case.
Yeah.
But here, it's like you get really good cooling because you have an awesome Noctua cooler in there, and you're actually maximizing your potential there for
there's a 760 watt power supply.
Okay.
Corsair AX760, which I don't think is...
Little overkill on the power supply. I mean, unless...
Well, we don't really know what the core components are here.
True.
As far as I can tell, I don't know what What else is in there?
So I mean, this is Pimp My PC. So what could he do? What could this person do to kind of fix things up, tidy things up a bit? I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is cable management could look a little tidier. I know it's difficult in a mini ITX case, but especially right here in the picture that we're seeing, I think maybe tightening all of those up and putting them into groups, making kind of one constant or just a few constant streams of cables as opposed to kind of like cable spaghetti, I think looks really nice and also helps things like airflow because you have those two, I think they're 80, are they 80 millimeter fans in there or 120? I think they're 120s.
The one in the middle is big. It's larger than 120. The circuit. Oh, I'm sorry. This cooler. There's different configurations. I believe you can do with this cooler.
I'm at the front of the case.
Oh, the front of the case.
Case fans. I think there's two 120s.
I think it's a one. No, that's a 140 at the front.
And then there's two in the front, right?
Yeah.
There's two cases. There's two case fans.
Oh no, at the front. The front.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the back.
Yeah. There's two fans there. Whatever they are.
I think there's two 120s.
It's very important in the Node 304 that you have good cable management because most of those extra cables go right at the front of that case where you have you're only two intake fans right there. So if you have a bunch of bunched up cables and they're not super nice and neat, you can be impeding a lot of airflow that would otherwise benefit the Noctua cooler that you have in there, as well as your Strix GTX 970. So I would definitely fix that up a bit. I'm just guessing.
Okay.
I just call it a 970 because it looks like it.
Sounds reasonable.
But that would be my opinion. There's obviously no kind of window aspect here, so I'm not going to say like throwing some.
Well, that's an AX760,
some sleeved cables or anything like that. But all in all, it is a very nice looking PC.
I don't have a whole lot to add, to be perfectly honest, when it comes to a system this small. I like that you're able to fit that entire big cooler in the front. The AX760 is a fully modular power supply. That's the only question that popped up into my head was, would there be some way to reduce the amount of cables in there? And I wasn't sure if this was fully modular, but the AX760 is fully modular and platinum, 80 plus platinum. So that's a nice build. Yeah. First pick here, and I can't really come up with too much that you could do to like improve the other things that I'm not sure of here, like what your situation with the cooling on the CPU. Really, I have no idea there if it's it's got to be a low profile or something going on in there. Oh, what the hell am I talking about? It's got the Noctua cooler. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Never mind. I was gonna mention the drives, whatever drives might be in there.
Yeah, he's got a hard drive in there, I believe, an SSD probably.
SSDs. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to working with the case is small, there's not a whole lot you can do. So
true.
Nice build.
All in all, nice. Yeah,
I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next one.
Okay.
What do we got here?
This is from Zero Mind.
Now, I don't want to pimp your setups, guys. We just want to pimp your PCs because Pimp My Setup is a completely different show that has nothing to do with this one, and is completely different in every way possible. Yes, there are no similarities between ours and Matt Philly's show and my setup.
But he sent a picture of his setup too.
I know. That's why I said don't do that.
So what do you think he could do here? I think maybe his cable management could improve.
No, don't. We're not supposed to copy it exactly.
Maybe a different desk.
We're supposed to go low profile so people don't realize the similarities that we actually ripped off this entire.
I like those monitors.
Segment.
Okay, so let's talk about the computer then. That is an X99 Deluxe, Kyle.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
Very nice.
We can't see anything here though.
I like this going on. I like how you have the white Corsair fans up there on your radiator. I think that looks really great with the X99 Deluxe from Asus. I also like
You dropped all the drives up top.
I like that too. I like how you open up the airflow on the bottom of the case, just give you a bit more healthy airflow to the video card.
Is this a Define R4 or Define R5?
It's probably a Define R5. Because Define R4, you couldn't do that.
Okay, yeah, that's a Define R5 then.
And I like how he has another fan, another 140 it looks like on the bottom there. I just really love all the airflow. It looks like a really, really cool, literally a cool case. Like it looks like it's
great.
Got good temps and stuff.
The black and white looks great.
It does.
Actually, that EVGA graphics card doesn't fit in as well with everything else.
Yeah, it's a little silver,
with the
right?
silver on the side, and there's not a whole lot of other silver going on in the case. The HX750i power supply, if you're talking purely aesthetics here,
the blue
doesn't really match with the LEDs.
Right.
So those are the only two things I think aesthetically that kind of stick out to me a little bit.
Yeah.
I like what you did with the drives, popping all the drives up there at top.
That's actually what I have done with mine too.
Does it make it top heavy though? This looks like it would be really top heavy. Because
he's got three.
You got three mechanicals all at the very top of the case.
Honestly, I only have a concern about that if he's moving the case around a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's staying stationary, it's not moving much, then it's fine.
I also like it's interesting that the lower right here has so much open space, but it actually looks like a nice open like air tunnel from the front for bringing stuff back.
It definitely does.
And I don't know what else you would do with that anyway.
What I'm curious to know is why he didn't use another Corsair fan for the exhaust on the back.
On the back?
I feel like that would just match it. You know what I mean? A little bit more.
Because you have to buy those.
Well, yeah. I mean, what? I mean, he does have the fan on the bottom and the fan on the back matching, but I feel like having that white rim around, aesthetically speaking, would kind of bring it together.
I would guess that those are Corsair's SP fans, static pressure, since they're on a radiator.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about their AF series.
But actually, the fan at the front right here and the fan at the top left have white rims, and those are not fractal fans. I don't know where those fans come from.
No, I know. I'm just thinking maybe having all the same type of case fan and radiator fan might bring the theme together a bit more.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's a very clean looking build.
Very clean.
And I think this is also there are certain cases and certain builds where you look at them and you're like, there's really no need for them to custom sleeve cables because there's just so many other things wrong with it that custom sleeve cables wouldn't even make it look much better.
Yeah.
But this is one of those that has potential to enter into the notion of the possibility of custom sleeving your cables, because it looks really nice. So I think adding some custom sleeve cables in there might just give it the edge it needs to really look like a showpiece.
That could make it pop.
Yeah,
right now the cables are subtle and they kind of blend in.
Right.
The cables can be like more of a feature.
Right.
If you go for that, but overall, again, very nice.
Yep.
Both of the builds we've looked at so far, I've had a hard time finding too much fault with.
Well done.
All right, so here's another one. This is from Ron.
Oh, he's got 3 different ones here for us. Let's just look at one of them.
R.J. Myers, 1962.
Let's look at this one over here.
So we'll look at this one first. Ooh.
Okay.
It's a Be Quiet build.
So the first thing I notice about this is very good cable management.
Yes.
Very tidy. I like how you've removed the drive cage that you're not using to open up a bit more airflow coming in from the front of the case. I think that was a smart move. Yeah. I like how you replaced your exhaust fan in the back with another Be Quiet Silent Series fan. Or Silent Wings fan, I should say. But I'm a little confused as to the overall theme and color scheme, because you've got some green LED fans at the top, which could do pretty well. I think they're BitPhoenix fans, I'm not sure. But you've also got a red ROG... I'm sorry, not ROG. It's an ASRock board. So I think that it kind of looks a little Christmassy to me.
Yeah, the red and the green don't blend very nicely to me. I would say red LEDs on those top fans or no LEDs or just straight black fans.
Red LEDs would be nice, yeah.
I mean, well, the whole thing has, there's only a little bit of red in there. And it's all from the motherboard and the memory.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say if it was all blacked out even, more of the Be Quiet fans for exhaust on the top or something like that, I think it would blend a little bit more for me.
Right.
I'm very particular about LED case fans anyway.
Me too.
I'm not a big fan of them.
Yeah.
Big fan of the fans. So.
Nice.
Anyway, but we have a couple more builds, I think, that were linked here. Hold on.
Yep. Overall, a nice looking build, though. Oh, we're going to go through all of them? Okay. Well, that one's a little tough to...
Wait, what else? Just happened that was weird.
It's hard to see. Well, these are all from the same guy, so
yes.
Let's
look at him. Oh, that one's clean.
I like that.
That's nice. Okay.
Sexy.
We got one more here. This is from Carlo.
Let's do 2 or 3 more.
Carlo Gutia.
Carlo.
There we go.
So again, what you were saying, Paul, with the LED fans, they can be a nice accent when used appropriately, or they can be kind of distracting. I don't really see too many LED fans on the CPU cooler.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it. I see the potential for it if it's done correctly. But I feel like you might need some additional LED fans in there just to complement that one fan. Because right when I look at it, that's the only thing I see in the case. Is I'm looking straight at that LED fan, and it's very distracting. But if you had some other LED fans, maybe at the top, I mean, it looks like you got some room at the top to mount some fans there. Maybe for exhaust at the top of the case.
This looks like a 760T case, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's probably got some. It's definitely got some fan mounts out there.
There's lots of room.
I think if you had some additional fans, just like that, exactly the same blue LED up there, it would look really cool. But also, we're going with the blue and red theme, and I feel like blue and red doesn't bother me as much as red and green, like the last one.
Yeah.
Where I can deal with it. If that's your thing, you know, it's
red and
preference.
green always says Christmas,
unless
unless there's something else going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
But all in all, again, good cable management. We're getting good cable management for these pictures. For sure.
We haven't seen anything that looks like horrid or like
cable monsters.
Like, hey, if you just clean up those cables, it'd look great.
Yeah.
Oh, great cable management.
Right.
Wait, was there? I think there was two pictures.
The only one thing that I would be nitpicky about. Oh wait, let's move on to this next one.
And the last, no, it's the same.
Oh, it's the same one.
Just two pictures of the same system. One
thing I would be nitpicky about, going back to this one, is you have the second drive cage on top, only accommodating a hard drive. Now, if it were me, I would probably try to find a way to just get like a 5 1/4 inch to 3.5 inch adapter for that hard drive. Put it in the 5 1/4 inch bay up top if there was room, and just remove that drive cage altogether just to open up the airflow a bit. That would really bother me, but.
I don't think there's any drives below that, but...
Exactly, yeah. If there's no SSDs there or anything, that would be a good thing to do.
I need to find one more.
Okay.
Give me a moment.
Yeah, the 780T, though, you have a 780T, Paul, right? And you love it, right? It's a great case.
I do. 760T.
Oh, you have the 760T. Yeah. That's right. 780T is the crazy water cooling one. But cool, let's do two more.
Gary.
Let's do two more. Gary!
Hold on.
That's a nice looking one. Do it. Do it, Paul. Do it. Do it. Sorry. I'm creating filler. This is all I got.
Alright. Okay.
Here's my build. Yeah, I like how they're using the hashtag #PimpMyPC.
Nice.
You guys should definitely do that.
All the time.
Do that all the time when you send in pictures from now on for this segment. That way we could probably more easily organize them and arrange them.
What GPUs are those?
Those might be Titans or 780s.
There's a whole wide range of GPUs that those might be.
Indeed.
Titan 780, 780 Ti's, 980s.
Right.
I'm kind of curious.
So what do you think, Paul?
What, about the build overall? Or
the build overall. What stands out to you?
So I like the build overall. This, again, looks like a 760T, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is a 760T because of those SSD mounts on the back.
Right.
I like the hardware that I'm seeing in here.
Yeah.
You got an MSI, what I'm guessing, I believe that's a Z97 motherboard, or maybe a Z87. I like the SLI configuration. I would say with those cable extensions that are all white, those could be bunched up a little bit better. I feel like they're a little bit little loose in there, so maybe some white zip ties or even black zip ties in a couple positions along each of those extensions.
Yeah, some white zip ties I think would look really nice.
I could clean that up a little bit. The Thermaltake power supply I'm sure is great as a power supply. The logos and images on it look horrible.
It looks like a 90s.
It's like orange.
HUD.
You got the Thermaltake orange, and you got a blue streak going in there for some reason, and there's also some neon green for no apparent reason.
Right.
I would want to cover that up somehow if this was going to be more of a show piece, especially if this is a 760T.
Right.
It has a big old side panel window. That would stand out to me.
Maybe get like a cool custom decal for it that fits right over that.
Yeah, something like that, or a power supply cover.
Yeah.
I think those two things, the cleaning up those cables a little bit and doing something about that power supply would make everything tie in a lot more. Yeah. Other than that, you've got mostly black with some white, some yellow on the MSI motherboard, and some green on the logos for the
cards, whatever they are.
NVIDIA cards.
Yeah.
So the green and the yellow is like okay. Like it's not the best matching wise, but
Right.
they would pass. But yeah, you got to get rid of some of the stuff on the power supply. I think if you want everything to kind of tie in.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
look pretty.
Yep.
But nice build.
I have to agree.
Good
Yeah.
cable management again.
It's
I'm so
pretty
happy
kick-ass.
all these builds have had such good cable management.
I know.
You see, it's so many like builds that are just like just put it all.
We had some disasters on
Why did you get it?
on Pimp My Setup with Matt.
Oh yeah,
Jesus, but those are always fun to talk about.
they are. Oh, wow. Why does this keep getting so big?
All right, and let's do our last one before we wrap
More?
up this segment here and move on to the next one.
All right, let's go for Mitch.
Mitch.
Ben Hunter sent us a.
Mitch.
Wait, what?
What? Oh, come on. What?
Oh, okay. We have to show this one.
Wait, did he
We
seriously?
show both of these.
So he used an Xbox 360
Yeah, that's
enclosure
an
for a PC?
So, Ben Hunter sent us this
No.
picture over, which is an Xbox 360
360?
mod.
Yeah.
I haven't drank as much this week as I drank last week.
You're just
Um,
getting stupider.
He said max temps GPU 70, CPU 50. It's an i5 3330 and a GTX 660 in there. I'm impressed.
Wow.
Good job. Very good job.
The
Ben.
ultimate console killer.
Now, granted, I can tell he's got the power supply external,
Yeah.
so you have to kind of work to like where you set that and where everything else is going to be set up. But I like that. I like.
So
taking those
wait.
mods.
So those are going. Where are those cables going?
This is the I/O for the motherboard.
Well, yeah.
This is the graphics card, which
Yeah.
he must have put on probably a PCI Express extension cable so he could angle it vertically.
Right.
That's a mini ITX motherboard. And then he got extensions or something else for all of the internal power connectors so that he could feed them out the back and connect them to the power supply. As far as I can tell. At least.
Oh, I see. His power supply.
Yeah, power
obviously.
supplies is a box sitting on the carpet.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. And I hope
Very
you don't run this
interesting.
on the carpet all the time. By the way, also.
Yeah.
Put that up somewhere where people can see it and appreciate
That's
it.
really interesting, though.
All right.
Wow.
And then we got this last one from Mitch MD. This is his rig that he's showing us right here.
He's a medical doctor.
Mitch MD, oh yeah.
Look at that stock cooler right there.
So we got that's an AMD stock cooler, if
It
I'm not
is.
mistaken.
For sure it is.
That is.
Get some blue dims, possibly. And this, I'd say this is probably the first of the segment where could use a little bit of cable management help.
Cable management could use some love there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got what case is this? This is
I don't know what case that
recognize
is.
the hex.
I don't recognize
hard
this
drive.
disk drive cage thing going on right
But
here.
it looks like you've got some space behind the motherboard tray, at least some routing holes. If not a routing hole, but you've at least got like a little area that you can tuck them behind. Utilize that because you're paying for that feature. Not all cases have that, and it looks like you could stash some of that
It's
cable
like, in particular,
away.
your supplemental CPU power, which is going right across the front,
Right.
which is functional but a little bit garish when it comes to cable management discussions. So yeah,
Right.
anything you can do to route that behind the motherboard. Again, we don't know what case this is, so if this happens to be one of those cases that just has no room behind the motherboard tray, which I really can't tell from
And
this
does it look
picture.
like his video card's plugged into a lower slot? I mean, maybe not the primary one.
Yes.
I mean, as long as it's the fastest capable slot, then you're good. But you might want to double check that.
Yeah, it looks like there is actually what I think is a USB,
Right.
maybe a USB 3.0 card.
That's what it looks
It's added
like.
here because it looks like there's a plug going to the front of the case.
Yeah.
So maybe you had one of those internal pass-through USB 3.0 cables that you've plugged in internally. I would say,
Swap it.
like, functionally, if you have the same amount of lanes available on both plugs,
lanes, yeah.
it shouldn't really be a thing.
Sure.
Some people will say, well, there's distance there, and that adds some degree of latency, even though it's the speed of light times like 4 inches or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So, yes, ultimately, when it comes down to it, the top slot is going to be the most ideal.
True.
And it might help out your cable management a little bit, especially since you've got a cable going across that expansion card, to drop that down to one of the lowest slots.
Yeah.
Maybe hide it a little bit more because it looks like that also has a green PCB
Get it closer
on it.
to your power supply.
Yeah.
You just kind of
And,
stealth it.
bring that GPU up a little bit higher. Getting the GPU up a little bit higher to allow a little bit more airflow through there and get it away from that power supply would also be potentially an improvement as well.
Right. And definitely get some blue dims. I mean, consider getting some blue sticks of memory and saving those ones as backup, because anyone can always benefit from backup RAM. Trust me. and it'll just look a lot nicer overall.
Or if you don't want to spend money on upgrades or anything,
spray paint.
Yeah, like pull them out.
You could
pull them out, mask off all the contacts.
Yeah.
Mask out the PCB, and you can spray paint them. I mean,
right.
if that's something you want to do.
Yeah.
That'd be cool too.
But it definitely has potential.
Yeah. Nice build, though. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone who submitted builds.
Yeah, absolutely. Today. And also, guys, let me know what you think of this segment. I want to know if I should be doing this more consistently or if I should axe it all together. It's terrible, and screw you for copying Matt. But let me know. Let us know in the chat if you like this type of thing. I think it's fun because it's interactive with the audience, with you guys, and Paul and I get to check out your rigs and just see what you guys have.
I thought it was alright.
It's because it's not in your segment. You're jelly.
It was okay.
Straight jelly, brah. Alright, cool. Well, thank you guys for participating. I really appreciate all of you guys sending in those pictures. It really helped out the segment a lot because it obviously wouldn't exist without all of your participation. So on that note, on a closing finale, we are going to do some Q&A where we take your questions and we try to answer them to the best of our abilities.
Oh, good.
So go ahead and tweet at us, Paul's Hardware, at Paul's Hardware on Twitter, or at Forever Kyle. Or you can just blow up our chat at Twitch right here, and we'll try to answer whatever you guys might have to ask us about. Word.
JetBoy71 said he's going to hand me some peanut butter to go with my jelly.
Oh, hell no.
Why am I jelly?
Not.
I'm jelly your segment.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Okay.
Bye.
I thought that was pretty fantastic. Wow, is that a question? Alright, what's daddingly felon? I don't know if this is... I recently overclocked my 4690K, which is cooled by a Corsair H60 with a 120mm radiator.
Okay.
I was able to dial in a stable overclock of 4.4 megahertz at 1.19 volts. Ran the Intel burn test a few times, then ran Prime 95 for 4 hours with no problems. Also benched it with Cinebench. My idle temps were 25 to 30 C, load temps were 75 to 80. I don't dare push higher overclock due to my cooling restrictions. I was wondering if there's anything else you'd recommend to help test stability. Any thoughts would help.
Get a better cooling solution or underclock.
Yeah, I mean, a Corsair H60, 7580C max. You could even go hotter than that. You can go up
I
to
really don't see a problem.
Up to 90-ish even if you wanted to push it further. But 4.4 at 1.9 is very nice. I mean, keeping that voltage down for me is a great to be able to do. You will lengthen the life of your CPU over the higher voltage overclocks that are out there. So if you're looking for a daily overclock that you just leave there and don't change, 4.4, 1.19 volts, I'd say stick with that. You seem like you're sitting pretty good.
Yeah.
And Prime 95 and Intel burn tests are both synthetic tests that put way more of a load on your CPU than you'll ever experience with anything that you do normally.
Right.
So I think you're sitting pretty well right there.
Yep.
I'd say good job.
And if you are concerned with any kind of cooling issues or cooling capacity, I would also suggest going into your UEFI and seeing if it supports adaptive voltage. And switching it over to that once you've dialed in your overclock, because instead of running at the same voltage at all times to your overclock settings, it'll actually dial down whenever you're at a low power state and you're just idling. That way you're not burning unnecessary calories for your computer, so to speak, or power. So that's also a good thing to do. Check out adaptive voltage settings.
There's another question from Zero Mind, who asks, with NVMe consumer drives emerging, like the Intel 750 series, which I did a video on with JJ just this past week, do you think there's any reason to invest in a non-NVMe M.2 PCIe drive at the moment, or should I wait until NVMe stuff becomes more prevalent? It's hard to say depending on your needs and what you do with your computer and like how frequently you use it. Because for me, if you need something now and you're going to use it now, then buy it now. With PCs, you can always say, well, in a month or in 2 months or in 3 months or in 6 months, there's going to be something better. That's just something you have to accept. People who build PCs learn that really early on. Like, I just did two-way 980 SLI configuration, and I was ready for NVIDIA to launch the Titan X. I was like, you know what? NVIDIA's going to come out with something. It's going to be better, and my fastest GPUs aren't going to be fastest anymore. It's just kind of something you have to come around to.
Territory.
That said, NVMe is pretty awesome, but even what you can get right now with M.2 and PCIe, still using AHCI, is still very impressive.
Yeah.
The amount of performance you get with NVMe, like when we're talking about like the 750, which if you get the 1.2 terabyte version, can go upwards of 22, 24, 2700 megabytes per second reads on the drive, and about 1.2 to 1.4 gigabytes per second writes. It's hard to make use of that much speed for one, and the PCIe drives that are still AHCI can still do a good amount. I mean, you can still find PCIe drives that are HCI. I mean, granted, they're the newer ones, but that can do over 1.2 gigabytes per second reads and writes.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you find something that's cost effective that works for you, then yes, go ahead and dive in. If you're waiting for NVMe, then wait for NVMe. I think we're expecting between Q2 or the end of Q2 this year, around June, and through to the end of the year, we're expecting to see a lot more NVMe stuff come out. We're going to see some new platforms launch, or hopefully a new platform launch on the Intel side, which might have some new updates in that area. And then what we're also going to see is the manufacturers of motherboards actually updating their current boards as well as older boards, depending on the manufacturer and how invested they are. Going back and updating so that in your motherboard selection menu, you can choose not only IDE and HCI and RAID mode, but also NVMe mode.
Right.
Which is what you need in order to use those drives.
Nice. Papa Squat asks, which is better, 4790K or 5820K? Only a $50 difference on Newegg. Going to be doing some gaming and video/photo editing. 5820K is just better in general if you're just talking like yes or no answer. And for video photo editing, I would say go with the 5820K. If you're doing it professionally and you're doing it for not just leisure, but it's like for, you know, a side job that you have going on, you really want the most out of your...
If you're doing it a lot, but
you're doing it a lot.
But you also have to keep in mind that when you're jumping up to 5820K, you're not just looking at the difference in the price between the 4790K and the 5820K, which might be only about $50.
DDR4.
You're also looking at, you're going to need DDR4 memory instead of DDR3. You're going to need an X99 motherboard instead of a Z97. And X99 motherboards and DDR4 memory are all more expensive. So it's not just that price difference between CPUs. So unless you're doing a lot of video editing or a lot of photo editing, I would say stick with the Z97 and a 4790K, simply because you could probably overclock that a little bit faster. I mean, it's hard to say exactly. Chips vary from chip to chip, but you can get a good overclock out of a 4790K. You're not going to spend as much on the chipset. The memory is going to be a lot cheaper. Granted, it's not as much as it was like 5-6 months ago, but DDR4 is still more expensive, and you're going to be able to maybe even get more DDR3 memory than you would be able to get with DDR4. So it's hard to say exactly. But if your focus is more on the gaming side, I'd say stick with 4790K. If you're...
You don't need X99 for gaming.
If
there's no reason you need X99 for... There's absolutely no reason. It's only if you have a workstation application and you're doing heavy, like, multi-threaded applications, you need an i7, then go X99. If you're gaming, don't even bother. It's just a waste of money. It really is.
Yeah.
You can game perfectly fine on
if you're going to do a lot of rendering, if you're going to do a lot of video editing, if you're going to do anything else that is CPU intensive, then 5820K is a great CPU. And I like that Intel on this time around made the 5820K overclockable. Yay!
Yeah, that was nice.
It's
Thanks, Intel.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh no.
That sucks.
Oh
bad.
no. How did that happen?
It happened live, though.
How did that beer just magically get there?
It's been there the whole... Why are you swishing it onto me?
I wasn't. This was just the closest possible place for it to go, not on my keyboard.
Is this a good time to end the show, Kyle?
This is a perfect time to end the show, Paul, because I need to clean this up
With a
now.
warning, you shouldn't drink beer around your electronics parts, guys. Be smart.
Don't
be safe.
Put the beer...
Because you might spill a beer right across your keyboard on your laptop.
Damn it, Paul.
Not that Kyle just did that.
I totally didn't.
Not at all.
Shit.
That'll clean off.
Well...
Anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys.
Vlog video coming soon on the endurance of the G550
How to
JK.
clean... How to remove a G550... See?
A lot of leakage problems.
You gotta make lemons out of lemonade. Or lemonade
I know.
out of lemons.
Video coming soon, guys. Guys, thank you so much for watching the stream. Sorry we had to cut it short.
People are telling me to slap you.
I really have to... Yeah.
I'm not going to slap you. No,
I'm going to slap you.
That would be adding injury to insult, or something like that.
Jesus Christ!
I'm sorry.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Hopefully,
hit the like button. Console Kyle.
Effing like button. All right. Jesus, leave me alone.
Thanks for sticking with us. We are going to be playing some
away.
games later. Are we still playing games later?
Oh no.
We're going to try to play some games later.
I don't care anymore.
Might play some GTA 4. So you can check out Kyle's Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/.
I'm tweeting a picture
awesome
of this right
sauce
now.
News.
Check my Twitter for this picture. It's ridiculous.
My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Paul's Hardware. Thanks so much for watching this episode, guys, and sticking with us. We'll be back next week on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time with more awesome hardware.
Yep.
Kyle might be a little out of commission, but we'll do our very best.
Asus, send me a new laptop.
Thanks for watching the show today.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Take it easy.